If you're a driven, active person who wants to reach and pursue a higher quality life with some ambition, then guess what? This podcast is for you. This is the Driven Athlete Podcast. What's up, y'all? It's your man, Dr. Kyle. We got a really cool guest for an episode today for y'all to deep dive into some health, nutrition, and wellness, fitness direction. We got the legend Brianna Davenport here. Tell us more about where you're at currently and what you're involved with right now.
Yeah, so just moved to Jupiter from being up north a little bit in Martin County. So working with people remote and in person in Jupiter, which is awesome. Loving that. And then what it is I'm doing is it's a lot of focus on nutrition, but as it pertains to sports and athleticism. So there's a fitness component to it. Yeah. Which is really cool that I get to encompass all things wellness as it pertains to sport recovery, wellness going forward. With
like a really comprehensive approach.
100%.
All inclusive.
100%.
To make athletes just elevate their performance in life and your clients.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I find that most of the time it's athletes, but you'd be surprised at how many people just want to encompass that lifestyle as it is. But yeah, primarily athletes. And
you're mainly working for the fitness component with some clients at Joey D's spot, Hit It Great?
Yeah, so Joey D's has changed the name over to Hit It Great, but it is the old Joey D's location. So I've been there for 6-ish years. So still working out of there for some fitness clients. The nutrition side of things is just on my own. Started my own company there. So it's been a cool road for sure.
What's your fitness company called?
You mean the nutrition side?
Sorry, nutrition.
Nutrition. So it's CoastalBris, plan word, Bri for my name, BRIS, wellness. So CoastalBris Wellness.
Okay. So that's your side. That's your own thing.
Yes.
And then you're also seeing fitness clients at Hit It Great, Joey D's old spot.
Yeah, which is pretty much golf specific, really. I mean, it's really human movement, as you know, from the physical therapy side of things. A lot of rotational movement, athletes, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, gotcha. For what would you say is like your wheelhouse of clientele you like to work with?
I mean, ideally, athletes. I've always been an athlete. I relate to athletes. Even I like to say ex-athletes, right? If it's the mom who's in her 50s who hasn't played her sport in years, you still have that mindset. You're once an athlete, always an athlete. Just that driven, goal-minded as far as reaching for goals, right? So that mentality of a human, which tends to transfer over from athletes.
Yeah. You can take the athlete off the field, but you can't take that field out of the athlete, like the competitiveness. I've always felt like that myself too. And hence some of the motivation for this podcast like this and my own business that I have been running. But the weekend warrior, the athletic driven person, motivated, enthusiastic to improve their life, open-minded to learn new things and be like, that's not, let's get after it.
Exactly.
I've always felt, with that, I feel like with the type of clientele that we also see, it really helps amplify the improvements we can make, and it makes it a lot more fulfilling on our end.
It really does.
Like, this is actually working. You're actually doing your stuff. Like, you're buying in. This is great.
And they open up in a different way. Yeah. Not to say that anybody else is bad. That's not what I'm saying. It's just a connection level that's different. Yeah. And for me, and like I know that's how you guys feel as well with the sports specificity of what you do with your PT clinic, of just. They are really there for the wellness of themselves and care to accomplish that. Yeah. Right. Which is really inspiring to see and makes you want to work harder at what you do.
Totally. Yeah. And you see the results, it's encouraging, fulfilling.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, where are you from originally?
Chicago.
Okay.
Suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Born and raised.
And then from there, where'd you go to undergrad?
Went to undergrad at Florida Gulf Coast University. Played softball there for a year.
What position?
Center field.
Okay. So you were fast.
Used to be.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Slapper and outfielder. So
were you lefty then?
I batted lefty, threw righty.
Okay. So ambidextrous. So,
comboed. Yeah. Started off righty when I was a kid, and my swing coach was like, "You're too fast for this. We need to get you on the left side slapping." So that was...
Smart move.
Yeah, I mean, it transitioned from, 6th, 7th grade, it was difficult, but then after that, it just feels like second nature. And now if I pick up a bat and try to swing righty, it just...
Doesn't work.
No. No, it looks like I've never played a sport in my life.
It's like, are you any kind of athletic at all?
But what's funny is I golf righty.
Oh, interesting.
So, weird. Don't cross over the swings there.
I was going to say, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, to not have a crossover. I was going to ask, so your husband, Austin, he's a golf pro up in the Martin County or Jupiter, Tequesta area.
Yeah, he's at the Dye Preserve in Jupiter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Does he help you with your golf?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unsolicited or always invitation? Like, is there open?
No, he definitely asks because he knows that I will get frustrated with things super easily if I like can't catch on or don't understand a concept or whatever. So especially like if we're playing, he'll just be like, do you want a tip?
Yeah.
Do you want help with that? But
that's a good intro.
I mean, I had never really played golf. I had gone putting and played putt-putt and little things like that. But when we first started dating in college, one of our first few dates was at a driving range. And I was hooking them, missing, topping balls, whatever. And I finally hit one perfect one. And that one perfect one brought you back the next time. Brought you back the next time.
It's that one shot. It's like, if I could just do that every time. Imagine if I just had that 1 7-iron like that. Totally. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's super frustrating.
It is. It's the hardest sport ever.
I don't disagree with that.
I think it's just because there's no reaction. Like you have to create everything in a golf swing, right? Yeah. Like at least with softball, the ball was being thrown at you. You swing and hope for the best half the time. You're throwing it. Somebody else is reacting to that it hits the ground, whatever. And that's majority of sports, right? Yeah. But with golf, the ball's right there on the tee. You're the one who has to accomplish everything.
It's not moving.
Right.
Still.
You would think it'd be the easiest thing ever. Yeah. But no.
That's so is there any crossover? Like does Austin work out at Hit It Great currently or send clients and stuff there? So relationship?
Yeah. When I first started working there, I actually trained him there. And then there's definitely crossover as far as like membership at his golf course that then show up to Hit It Great athletes that have then gone on to become members over there, that sort of thing. Him and I actually don't work out there. I needed something for just me to clear my head where I wasn't programming for myself and I needed, coaches need coaches. So I went and started working out at Metabolic, which is in Jupiter. Yep. And then he saw how much I loved it and just the people I met there and everything. So he was all in. So we both go there now.
Yeah. Metabolic. I mean, I have met a lot of people that really like that spot.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's one of those places like you feel like an athlete again. You're moving like an athlete. You're training. It's not just a generic workout that you just went and moved and got sweaty. Yeah. Like there's actually purpose behind their methods, which I really appreciate.
Between sets, texting and stuff.
Yeah,
not doing that. It's high intensity. The times that I've done it, I've definitely been super out of breath, sweaty, tired,
for sure,
burnt.
For sure.
How long have you been going there?
Since May of 21. Okay, so we're pushing 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm friends with the owner there, so they did like a friends and family first inaugural week. Yeah. So I started then.
Yeah. That's cool.
Been there since the beginning.
That's awesome. So that's really cool though. I was going to say with your nutrition business and then also working with clientele and the fitness component at Hit It Great, the holistic, comprehensive approach and care that you can provide for the clientele to have a complete sense of like, here's the life health coaching direction for both the fitness and nutrition. What role would you say the nutrition component plays in somebody's health and wellness direction?
You smart, because I love this question.
That was a great question. Let me roll my sleeves up on this one.
Like, okay, here. Drastic. So obviously inflammation is going to build in the body, right? From your end of things on a PT side, you see that all the time, whether it's from injury, whether it's from surgery, whatever it is from, right? Your nutrition does not help that if you're eating like crap, right? So what's the standard American diet, right?
Cheeseburgers, French fries, milkshake.
Even all of our athletes.
Soda.
All the athletes are like, oh, we're going to Moe's after practice. Yeah. We're going and doing this.
I like Moe's.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all do.
Full disclosure, I'm a Moe's person over Chipotle.
Are you? I was in college.
Yeah. You get free chips every time.
Oh, yeah. I gained my freshman 15 from Moe's. I learned.
Moe's is good.
Lesson. Yeah. I learned a hard lesson. Yeah. But it makes a drastic difference. If you're trying to perform at an elite and high level, whatever that may be, your nutrition has to be on par with what you're doing in the gym, what you're doing on the field, on the court, on the whatever it is for your sport, right? Because if you are constantly just adding inflammation into your body through improper nutrition,
right,
you're not going to perform well, right?
What type of foods, people always would ask, okay, what are inflammatory foods?
Right.
I would imagine it's somewhat specific to each type of people and own sensitivities and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, if we broke it down to just like the simplest form, right? Because people are like, I don't know what's good. I don't know what's bad. I don't know this. If we think back to 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, what did humans eat, right?
Just animals.
there wasn't a Publix to just walk into and be like, oh, cereal, love this, right?
Yeah.
So you had animals. You had to go hunters and gatherers. That's what we were, right? So you hunted for animals. That was your best source because you needed the protein and the fats. You foraged and you gathered for fruits and whatever vegetables you could. And you even did it to your local area, right? Because if my ancestors in Europe were foraging around Europe, you weren't finding coconuts.
Pineapples. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's also that aspect to the holistic side too of the bio-individuality of every human being isn't going to necessarily need the same foods and tolerate the same foods because of your lineage. Yeah. And people, that's just something that blows people's minds when we start talking about that. Sense. It's like, hey, my ancestors are from Europe. Yours are from the Caribbean islands. We don't eat the same things. Maybe we can and maybe we tolerate it, but maybe we don't. And that's something to take into consideration.
The ancestral lineage is developed.
For sure. So at the core of it, and I think most people can agree, like, oh, I know I should eat more proteins, fruits, vegetables, drink, my water. But it's true. Like eating in a way that ancestrally and primitively was designed for humans to eat, it's not a diet. That's just what humans were brought up to eat, right? And now it's like, hey, well, I went into Publix and I got cereal and a Reese's cup and a Coke and a Pub Sub.
A bag of Malay's potato chips.
Yeah. And you eat it and you're like, oh, my stomach's, super bloated. I have brain fog. I've got this. Well, of course. Yeah. Of course you do.
Yeah, it makes sense. Right? I'm a sucker for Pub Subs. Yeah.
I mean, and they have a time and place.
Yeah.
They do.
The 80-20 rule, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, we love the 80-20 rule. Guys, he's just rolling in with all the best questions.
What do you recommend? Yeah,
what are your questions?
What are your thoughts on that?
So 80-20 is the only way I will work with clients. And this is why. If I told somebody, so another question that we've talked about a lot, right? Carnivore. Mm-hmm. Carnivore is extreme. And as much as I appreciate somebody wanting to eat the meat because it is valued in their diet, it is very, very restrictive and limited, right? So if you can handle that and that's your lifestyle, go for it. The average person cannot be that restricted, especially in social settings, especially with family, all of that. So what 80-20 is 80% of the time you're eating quality foods.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah, you're eating proteins, fruits, vegetables, right? Whether that's seafood, meat, chicken, whatever vegetables you want, whatever fruits you want, raw organic honey, dairy, things like that, okay? 20% of the time, live your life.
Yeah.
Go have a drink with your friends. Go enjoy somebody's birthday. It's your kid's birthday. Have a slice of cake. Yeah. Right? All those things that we just talked about as far as inflammatory things to the body. Yeah. It still has a purpose. I genuinely believe this gets a little woo-woo, right? But food fuels your body, right? But there's still that part of you, like your soul and your happiness and like cognitively, like this cake made me happy that I got to enjoy this with my family.
Yeah, totally.
Or grandma always makes these cookies for Christmas. Yeah. You bet I'm having at least one of those, right?
And that's okay.
And that's the 20%. You want to go more extreme, you want to do like a 90-10, but it allows for flexibility, right? And you can count it how you want. If it's every 10 days, you pick 2 days that you do something fun. Yeah. Or throughout a single day, 80% of my day was really good and 20% of my day flexed around. So
day by day.
Yeah, so you can kind of pick and choose how that works best for you. That's how I do it. I can do it daily, right? Like everybody who knows me knows I'm going to drink a Celsius. Yeah. That's my vice. I like it. It's my thing.
What flavor?
My go-to is wild berry.
Okay. You're a wild berry person. I can see that.
I'm plain Jane there for sure. There's a few others that I'll mix in, but that's the go-to, right? So I can have that Celsius knowing that my food for the day is going to be good. I'm going to get movement in. My hydration's going to be quality. Yeah. Like I'm doing all the other things to stay on top of it, that one thing isn't going to set me off track towards fitness goals, whatever it may be.
So the 80-20, as long like with the sense of like not going to be 90-10 or 95-5 if it's going to bring a bunch of anxiety, which is also going to maybe limit or inhibit overall growth development.
Right. Because what happens, right? Okay, carnivore again. If I tell somebody, let's do carnivore, right? Which, let's just say for the sake of restrictiveness, I put you on there. Okay. A week later, you're like, I want fruit. Yeah. Okay, so you have a piece of fruit, but then we start spiraling. Your blood glucose is all over the place, right? Your sleep patterns aren't great. And all of a sudden, you're just binging out on whatever you can find and eat. Yeah. That is what we don't want. Yeah. So restricting to that kind of degree for anything, whether it's like, hey, we're going to restrict, a lot of nutrition coaches are like, we're going to restrict your calories to 1,200 calories a day.
Which is,
Why? You're just going to gorge out again.
Yeah.
Like
something I've heard of that was like deprivation leads to binging.
100%.
Or deprivation and restriction will ultimately lead to binging. There was a time like back in college days, it was like, man, I'm learning all this stuff. I'm like, I want to implement this in my life.
Right.
And I was trying to be really strict and just make an intense change pretty fast. 3 days later, Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Hardcore for sure.
Yeah. It's the same thing with fitness, right?
Binge.
When you're all in and people are like, I'm going to go 5 days, 6 days this week. And now you're so sore. And it's like, well, I'm never going again.
That's too much. So what do you recommend with that to prevent the flashes of intensity and motivation at the beginning that leads to fizzling out?
Particularly for nutrition or?
Nutrition.
Find the few things, like what do you love? If I said right now, what would you do if I gave you a cheat meal? Right? A lot of people register those words. Yeah. Which I don't think that's a cheat. Just enjoy it. Yeah. I don't like the word cheat.
It's just part of the 20%.
Flex, whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. It's not cheating. Just enjoy it. Yeah, right? Yeah. Take maybe 5 things and put it on a list. Like, I absolutely don't want to give up Reese's. I don't want to give up, everybody's different, right? Spaghetti and meatballs because I want the pasta.
Chicken wings?
Sure. Chicken from Thirsty Turtle. Oh. Shout out to Juno Beach.
Yeah.
Right? So pick your few
We've been going
things.
there for years.
We love it. Pick your few things that are absolutely worth it to you and sprinkle them in and enjoy it. Yeah. And then majority of the time, as you're eating clean, you're eating healthy.
More purposefully.
Right. You're eating in those ways that your body wants for the nutrition of it. Yeah. I find most people, including myself, all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't really even want those things all that much. Yeah. I don't feel good when I eat
totally
it,
agree.
Right? I feel lethargic and tired. My workouts are poor. Yeah. It's not worth it to me. Yeah. And that's what a lot of my athletes start realizing is as they dive, more and more down the rabbit hole of just what does nutrition actually mean for me as an athlete, not just, oh, well, let's talk about nutrition because we're humans and we eat food. Yeah. But no, specifically athletics. Yeah, yeah. They start to realize all of that stuff is not worth it. Yeah. And you really start pinpointing when it is. Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, I feel like I've noticed in my own life, but it sounds like we're habit developing changes that are the ultimate win. The ultimate win is like, oh, I really don't want more than this one little slice of cake. It doesn't, I kind of don't like it, Or maybe you don't even want it. That's the win. Right? The habit change. Is that correct? I'll be honest. My daughter's 3rd birthday was this past weekend. Oh, really? That's cool. We had cake from Publix. And so naturally everybody's having cake. Yeah. Didn't even have it at the party because it didn't interest me. Got home and I was like, oh, I'm going to have a bite. It doesn't actually taste good. Yeah, yeah. That to me wasn't worth it. Now, if I had a homemade something or other, maybe it's different. Yeah. But for me, it's just not of interest, right? So I took the couple of bites and I was just like, I don't even feel good. It wasn't even worth it. Yeah, yeah. I'd rather have had something else. Yeah, yeah. So you start learning those things too, where it's just like, okay, this is out. Definitely don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't feel good when I have these things. Yeah. And I do feel good when I have these. And your body starts to react to that. Yeah. So those changes, those changes happen after a consistent amount of time, right? Would you say? You'd be surprised. How fast it changes? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially if you start getting rid of things that are inflammatory. So you talk about seed oils, hot topic right now, right? Yeah. Sugars, processed carbs. That's a big one because everybody's anti-carbs. Carbs will make you fat. Fats will make you fat. Sugars will make you fat. All the things apparently make you fat. Yeah, There's a time and place for all of it, right? But the seed oils are very inflammatory to our bodies. What are seed oils? It's all the processed oils, sunflower oil, safflower, soy.
What stuff has a lot of that in it?
Anything processed for the most part. You walk into Publix, right? And you have the outer aisles and what's on the outer aisles. Produce, then you hit your meat, pork, chicken, dairy, whatever. Yep. Fabulous. You go to the inside aisles, it's all the chips. Chips are just soaked in seed oils. You get, all the kids, you go and look at all the kids' cereal that they're promoting. It's all dyes, seed oils, sugars, high fructose corn syrups, right? So my 3 categories as far as watch out for inflammation, particularly, again, for athletes. Yeah. Seed oils, processed sugars, right? Because natural sugars you're going to find in fruit. And you'll hear people who are like, oh, limit fruit because it's full of sugar. It's bad for you. Natural fructose. In what world do you think fruit is actually bad for you, right? And processed carbs, right? Because you're going to get carbs from fruits and vegetables, right? Am I going to tell you not to eat a potato? Sweet potatoes are a great source of carbs, especially for energy for athletes, right? But that's not processed.
What would be a processed sugar?
Processed sugar would be any kind of candy, basically,
Just candy.
right? And I mean, it's in a
Added sugar.
It's in a lot of things, right? Added sugars. If you look at ingredients and it says high fructose corn syrup, or I mean, even just like cane sugar, added this sugar, whatever sugar, molasses, you know. And what's sad is they put a list of, my gosh, there's got to be 25, 30 names for sugar, and they can just hide it into an ingredient label, right? So you'd be surprised if we walked into a Publix right now and just flipped over the ingredients of pick any candy you want, particularly something that looks like super colorful and strange and crazy, like a little kid would point out and be like, I want that.
Yeah, totally.
Start reading it. It's insane. It's all just processed. It was man-made. There's nothing about it that came from the earth. It shouldn't be in your body, right? Essentially.
Processed carbs, and what's that look like?
Processed carbs are things like, let's go through the aisles, right? I keep coming back to cereal. Cereal is just a good one because I hone in on that is, it's not heart healthy. Cheerios are not heart healthy. Like, they advertise.
The heart logo on there?
Oh, yeah.
They have the heart logo. That has to be.
It's organic. It says it on the box. It must be good, right? For all these things. So, you know, you got chips, unless you get, like, again, we're talking quality, right? So if it's a crappier quality, Doritos, Lay's potato chips, right? These are drenched in seed oils. It's processed carbs, all of that. If you get a quality tortilla chip, right? Like if you go to a Spanish restaurant and they literally just right there bake it.
Yeah, different story.
You're good. A great company is Siete brand. Fantastic. Their chips, they put it into avocado oil, which is a good oil. The good oil is avocado, coconut, olive oil, those ones, solid. They are not inflammatory to your body. They're actually really great fat source, all of that, right? That's how they make their chips, right? And it's just quality sources. So
interesting.
It's a lot of information, and I see, you know, why people get very confused very easily, because it's like, well, you said chips, Siete chips are okay, but these ones aren't, and this one this, and this one that. By just starting slow of, you know, proteins, fruits, vegetables, and then finding swaps for most people, right? Because they're like, I love Cheez-Its. I've got a swap for that, right? But
what is it?
Oh. Why? Do you like Cheez-Its?
Oh, man. The toasty Cheez-Its. Also the hot and spicy Cheez-Its. Those are good.
Simple Mills.
Simple Mills.
Simple Mills. I'm going to be honest, it still has a seed oil in it, but overall quality of ingredients. Right. So if you pulled up and we looked at a box of Cheez-Its and a box of Simple Mills cheddar crackers and you read the ingredients, what I like to tell people is if you feel like you have to be a scientist to start reading through that ingredient label, which you would if you're looking at a Cheez-It box, you probably should avoid it. Right? Or that goes in your 20%. Have the Cheez-Its, right? That if that's your vice and you love them so much and that's your thing, that's when you use them. Right?
What about, so when you say inflammatory for your body, what do you mean by that?
So these foods cause an inflammatory response in the body, right? As you ingest them, and it goes all the way down to a cellular level. So here's the problem as it pertains to athletes, because that's kind of our focus of the talk, right? Let's say you have a baseball pitcher who's injured, right? Elbow's all jacked up. He's coming to see you, and we just can't get the inflammation down. You guys are working like crazy. He's icing, all the things. But he's going to McDonald's every night, and it's simple because it's cheap and easy after practice.
Convenient.
And all of these things, right? He's ingesting the processed carbs, added sugars, and the seed oils. The three categories that I would argue are just my three primary if we're talking about what to avoid when possible and or add to the 20%, right? So if it becomes your 80%, which it is for majority of people, if not 90 or more, I mean, plenty of Americans are at 100% of just eating this stuff every single time they put something in their mouth, right? When you eat it, you ingest it at a cellular level, your cells can't get rid of it. Right? It oxidizes in your system. When it oxidizes in your system, it causes the inflammation. For wherever. It could be because you already have injury, or you create problems within your own body and you just become a weaker individual that then leads to an injury, right? So eating the foods that are quality helps your body be quality. If you eat the foods that are bad, people just think it's as simple as, I'm going to get fat. Well, yes, you probably will put on weight. You will gain fat because of eating poorly, but it's far beyond that. It's what it does to your muscular system. What does it do to your nervous system? What is it doing cognitively?
Yeah.
Right? We see the decline of just somebody eats, a bag of candy for lunch and skips out on proteins and fats and anything else, and all of a sudden your blood glucose just drops and you have no energy, you can't think straight, you have a pounding headache. I think about college. How many times were people just cramming for tests and you're sitting there shooting back espresso shots and Red Bulls and all this. You're not eating, but there's a ton of sugar, there's caffeine, and your brain just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right? So from that sake, that side of all of that, of just eating better to feel better, to look better, to perform better, right? All the things.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that question's a very deep dive question.
Yeah.
We could go very scientific, but I think for the average person watching right now,
what I did want to ask,
a pretty simple version.
When we hear a lot of antioxidants, right? This is great with antioxidants.
Yeah.
It's because of the free radical oxidized ions that are being created and exposed in your body from the cellular level, from inflammatory foods.
Correct.
So then we need antioxidants. They're going to be helpful to clear out those free radicals. Is that correct? And when I say free radicals, is that the same thing as like oxidized ions because of the being produced from the inflammatory foods?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So there's an increased amount of these oxidized ions from all these all these foods that cause that. So we limit that to the 20% or try to as much as we can.
Right.
And then other foods that would be good and antioxidants would be what?
I mean, best one, in my opinion, we're looking at turmeric, which isn't the easiest to go and just eat. But as far as, helping with inflammation, it's great. You can get it in drink versions. You can get capsule versions of it, that sort of thing.
What exposure have you had with like the effectiveness of capsules versus drink version of turmeric?
I personally don't see that much of a difference. Some people will say that if the capsule is open, it physically hits your tongue, it makes a difference. Honestly, I don't know the studies on it enough to make an opinion on it.
Not much of a significant difference.
When I take turmeric in a capsule, I feel the difference.
Yeah.
Right? And if I get it in a drink where it's like turmeric with like a lemon juice, some salt, whatever, like 3 Natives local here makes a pretty decent, just quick drink juice shot with it in it. Right? And so I don't see much of a difference as it pertains to it. I think just from adding it in general, it is going to help.
It's super helpful.
Yeah. I think everybody can be a little bit different there though too. So just tinkering with what works for you.
What about fish oil? Love
fish oil. Fish oil is great. But again, sourcing needs to be correct, because if you just get like a random fish oil off of Walgreens shelf, it's not quality, right? Yeah. And that's what we keep coming back to that for even food, for all the things, for your workouts. Like it needs to be quality.
Yeah.
Quality sourced foods, finding the best options you can for yourself.
The DHA and EPA in the fish oils, those are the chemicals that are the active ingredients, correct?
Yeah.
So then we want to find fish oils that have high. The ones that we've been exposed to is Nordic Naturals. I'm not familiar with them. With a concentration of those two chemicals, the DHA and EPA, correct? Higher levels of those in each capsule.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to look for.
Yes. Because you're going to, it's the same thing, right? When you go to the store and you want to buy fish. Yeah. Right? Do you want to get the one that was farmed in a tank, that was created by somebody in like a room this size, but there's hundreds of fish in this like container, right? Yeah. Or do you want to go out to the Atlantic not even a mile this way and go catch a fish, right? And you just want everything to be sourced as best as you can to your ability, whatever that means, whether it's based off of your location, right? Because if you live in Iowa, you're not going and catching a fresh fish.
I was just going to say Iowa. That's really weird. We're here.
All the places. All the places.
Yeah. I was going to be like, Iowa.
I should have said Illinois because I grew up there and you went to college there. That would have been a good choice too.
It's very similar.
But so
a lot of corn.
That's right. A lot of corn everywhere. But just as far as, sourcing, right? So you and I would want to go get a fresh catched fish because it was here. We could go. There's so many shops just everywhere that you can go and say, I just want to get a snapper fillet, I'm going to bring it home and cook it up, right?
Totally.
It was caught this morning.
Yeah.
Great. That's the best way we can source because we're local. But somebody else, they may need to go to their local store and just say, I want to get this because it was wild caught as opposed to this that is filled with who knows.
I've heard some
right?
very depressing stuff about farm raised fish. Oh man, it's not good.
Yeah. So you just want the best sources that you can find.
What? Okay, so anti-inflammatory and antioxidant type sources. Turmeric, fish oils on that list.
Yeah, blueberries.
I've heard pomegranate is also on the. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? What other suggestions?
I just love fat in general, right? So a good fatty steak, again, good quality sourcing wherever you can find it. Just good fats on meats, quality dairy. Again, everybody's different. Some people have lactose intolerance. So this is not let's follow what Brianna's saying and I'm going to go eat all the things. Because again, back to that concept of bio-individuality, like I can process cheese totally fine in my body. The next person can't. This person's good with gluten. This one's not. But just speaking as a very generalized, right? And then again, the biggest thing is, in my opinion, isn't so much adding to cover up the inflammation. It's going foundationally to why is that inflammation even there?
Yeah.
Typically, what do we find? Seed oils, the sugars, and the carbs.
Interesting.
Processed.
Yeah. So trying to lower that amount in our normal diet.
Right.
Consistent, because we are what we do, right? Consistently.
Right.
That makes total sense. So then explain fats. Fats aren't bad.
No. Fats are needed.
Carbs aren't bad either.
Fats are the only way we produce hormones, right? It's what a lot of people say, oh, our carbs are our preferred body's energy source, right?
Yeah.
Not false, but your brain prefers fats.
Yeah.
So if you want your brain to keep working, you need fats,
yeah.
right? There's a reason our body craves it because it needs it.
Yeah.
There's a reason your body craves water because you need it, right?
What kind of fats are you talking about?
So we're talking about, again, quality sourced fats. So a really good butter, quality dairy, whole milks, raw milk if you can get it. A lot of states it's illegal to get raw milk, but if you can find it, fantastic. A higher fatty beef. So if you can get a good ribeye, tomahawk, quality, just ground beef, a good bacon. But again, these are all quality things because if you're just going to go and buy a piece of bacon, well, that could have come from a cow that was just pumped full of, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So all quality sources. Greek yogurt, great source of fat. Dairy in general, just great sources of fat.
Yeah. Yogurt too, probiotic, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
What, avocado?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So now let's get away from the dairy and all of that. So avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, seeds, right?
Nuts? Like peanuts, walnuts, pecans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're getting fat sources from them.
Yeah.
You're also, what's great about those two, you're also getting protein sources and you're getting carbs.
Yeah.
So you get the full embodiment of the macros.
What carbs would you recommend for people?
So what's funny is people tell me, let's just back up for a second because I think this is funny. They'll say like, oh, I'm doing keto.
Yeah.
I'm not eating carbs. I'm like, okay. Did you eat fruits and vegetables today? And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, carbs.
There's carbs in there, actually.
Those are carbs.
Yeah, sorry.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
So fruits and vegetables, my best source, favorite source, potatoes.
Okay.
For me, personally. Works
Regular
well,
or sweet potato?
Whatever.
Both.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to get different nutrient properties from both, but as far as just speaking about carbs, right? Carbs, potatoes, is my favorite source. Now, again, if we come back and we circle back to the dairy concept that we were just saying, or the seeds, legumes, things like that, you're getting the full macro benefit of it. You're getting the proteins, you're getting the fats, you're getting the carbs. So if you ever look at the side of the carton of milk, right? If you have an 8-ounce glass of whole milk, it's about 8 grams of protein-ish, but the fats and carbs are also up there too, right? So you're getting the full benefit of it. Yeah. So there's plenty of places that you don't think of it being a carb source, right, and it is.
Yeah.
Right? But those are just the main ones that stick out if you're just trying to do simplistic from the beginning.
With cholesterol.
Yeah.
avoiding high cholesterol foods? Or is that, because I understand there's a lot of studies coming out that it's like a lot of focus has been on these things.
Yeah.
With like cholesterol and also sodium, salt.
Yeah.
I was going to ask that in a second too. What are your thoughts on cholesterol?
So as a whole, again, because we just keep speaking as far as the majority.
Generalities.
Generalized, yes. Sodium and cholesterol are not the problem. Majority of the time, the studies do show that it does come from eating a crap diet. That's, you see somebody who's diabetic, right? And they tell them, well, you should avoid sodium, you should avoid this. Well, what are you eating? You're eating crap, right? And so you look at somebody who then eats really, really healthy, right? All the things we've been talking about. Eats like their ancestors, works out like their ancestors. And what happens? Their blood work comes back and their cholesterol's high. So are they an unhealthy person? No. By no means, right? So they're hyper-focusing on things, right?
So just the level of cholesterol doesn't indicate success or failure? I
don't think so, personally, right? But now, again, everybody's different. And I'm not here to tell somebody that their doctor's wrong or anything like that. By no means. Listen to your doctor and listen to what they have to say. This is just a generalized podcast. But as a whole, right, your body needs cholesterol. Cholesterol is how you even make your hormones, right? So as far as cholesterol goes, like, yes, I'm here for it. I eat it. I eat high cholesterol foods daily. And then as far as sodium goes, we are saltwater creatures. Like, our bodies are literally saltwater. And you notice it as soon as you take away the salt, you're completely dehydrating your body. Your body needs it, right? It needs the sodium. It needs all of the other properties of electrolytes. It needs magnesium. It needs potassium in order to function correctly. And so you start taking the salt away, you're taking away a part of what your human body needs just to be up and active daily, let alone being an athlete.
Yeah. Besides supplementation, where can we get good sources of magnesium and potassium? Because there's sodium in everything, right? There's like a lot of sodium.
Yeah, but even sodium, again, we keep coming back to this quality concept, right? Yeah. Because, just table salt, white table salt, if we went out to a restaurant, like, I don't want it. I want a good quality salt. I want a sea salt, a Himalayan salt. My favorite is Redmond salt.
Okay.
If you were to go to, like, Sprouts has it, you can get it on, I believe, Amazon, whatever.
Interesting.
And it is a quality source of salt to get electrolytes. For me, being an athlete in Florida, it's hot. We're constantly sweating.
Yeah.
Just to be able to replenish all of those, I drink Element, which... not sponsored by them, but I just love Element that much. LMNT.
Yeah.
Flavored packets, I throw it in my water. I drink it, a couple of those a day, and
that's
replenishing.
Packed with sodium, magnesium, potassium.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your overall electrolytes, which, prior to what we've done of a purification system in, not even our culture, but in our country, of just taking out all of these nutrients, processing it, putting chemicals into it, sending it out through your tap water, whatever. As humans, we just went to a stream, which naturally had the electrolytes in it from flowing over rocks, and everything, and you would just drink that. So you had your natural electrolyte source that way, and we don't have that anymore. So finding ways that you can get that back into your water, reverse osmosis systems with water purification, like I have an AquaTrue at home, still add the Element into it so that I'm getting proper sources of it. I'll take magnesium before I go to bed to just get an extra source of it. Helps with recovery.
Just a powder?
Yeah. The one I use is called Empirica. Empirica Trimag is the one that I just happen to like, but there's other great sources out there too. There's great sources in capsules. Just doing your due diligence to find quality source stuff. Yeah.
Another question would be, let's say, okay, with all this stuff being said, for people listening, what would a diet look like? Where it's like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, for generalities. Like what things do you find yourself recommending to your clientele?
Yeah, so breakfast, you're looking at things like yogurt bowls, egg omelets.
Whole eggs?
Yeah.
Not egg whites?
Nope.
Okay.
You're going to get all your nutrients from the egg. And you and I have had a fun conversation about egg yolks as it pertains to color.
Yeah.
Right? The more orange, the better. The more better quality source. So if you go to the store and you get just a general white egg, right? You crack it open, you look, it's like a neon yellow. And that egg came from a chicken that was in a warehouse somewhere, never saw the light of day, eats corn, soy, whatever. It was never meant to be a vegetarian, a vegan. They're meant to go roam out on a pasture, eat little bugs and insects, eat some grass, have sunshine, right? So it's getting the nutrients it needs. When it's in a warehouse, it never receives the nutrients that it needs, right?
So
same thing with cows.
It's going to be a lot less quality.
Same thing with cows, right? So now if you can get a source where the animal was living the life it was meant to live, you in return will get the nutrients that it had, right? So then again, back to the egg, you crack a white egg, it's like a neonish yellow yolk. If you crack an egg, if we go out to a farm right now out here west and you go out to like Clewiston, Immokalee, you know, Okeechobee, any of those, and you go grab an egg off a farm, crack it, bright orange. That's what we want, right? So eggs, a quality bacon, if you can get a quality bacon.
What do you recommend?
Well, shout out to my guy, Farmer Greg, up at the Hope Sound Farmers Market.
Okay.
So finding something that's a quality source. What I mean by that is as close to its origins as possible. Simple version.
Got it.
Right? So just like we were talking about with the chickens, it should be running around on a pasture somewhere.
Yeah.
That's its origins. It was meant to do that. It wasn't meant to be in a warehouse. We did that as humans. We put them in a warehouse, right? Okay. So same thing with the bacon. It should come from a pig who's rolling around in the mud outside, living its best little happy pig life. You know, I don't want a pig that was in a warehouse somewhere just being fed.
Institutionalized.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we got breakfast. Water, of course. What are your thoughts on orange juice?
Again, if it's 100%, yeah.
Okay.
Now, overdoing it, like if you sit there and down a whole gallon, like unnecessary, ton of sugar, ton of carbs, your body just doesn't need it, right? But if you're using it for its purposes, absolutely.
Okay.
Orange juice is great.
So
Natalie's, 100%.
Natalie's.
Yeah. Or just squeeze your own oranges or, right? Just find just orange juice.
What are your thoughts on Tropicana from the store?
No.
With enhanced vitamin D and calcium.
How are we enhancing it?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Origins. Going back to the origins. Finding just single ingredients and or finding an ingredient list that you can read. You should be able to read an ingredient list.
Not be a chemist.
Correct.
Okay, so we got breakfast.
So let's go snacks, because a lot of people like a morning snack. Yep. Beef jerky, cheese sticks. I'm trying to picture my pantry right now, what I have going on. I do a lot of beef sticks. Paleo Valley beef sticks
Slim
are my
Jims?
favorite. Archer. Oh, yeah.
Slim Jim?
No, go really.
Yeah. No. I thought you were being
sarcasm at its finest. No, Slim Jims, no. Again, they're just adding a bunch of stuff to it. Right.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Processed.
If you find quality, like Simple Mills crackers, if you want to do that with like a cheese on it or fruit, right? Take an apple to go, take a banana to go, banana with peanut butter. You can make another yogurt parfait, like a smaller one. Yeah, put some Greek yogurt. Pick your favorite berries or banana. Put some raw honey on it. If you find raw honey locally, even better, because now you're just helping with histamine because it's coming from your local area of what's blooming, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a good snack.
So Simple Mills is something you recommend for a lot of things.
So Siete is my go-to. Siete is another good one for snacking, right? Siete chips with like guacamole, make a homemade guac, or just find, some avocados. Those are all really good snacks.
We all like avocados in our family. Even my kids, my little kiddos, they
Great
like
source of fat.
They like avocados.
Yeah.
And it looks weird.
And you can top it on a lot of things, right?
Right. Burgers.
Yep. Chicken, you name it.
Totally.
Yeah. Eggs in the morning. I put it on my eggs.
Quinoa.
Yeah.
Are you fan of quinoa?
I personally don't like it. Just taste wise, I'll do it if like my cousin makes a really good quinoa salad. So like that I'll do. But if I'm just going to eat for a carb source, I'm going to have rice.
Okay.
I'll choose rice over it. And that's just a personal
but quinoa's not a processed
Correct.
option.
Yeah, you're good.
But anyway, avocado and quinoa, it's a good mix.
That is a good mix.
Because quinoa's plain. It's bland, but put a little avocado in there, some lime.
Yeah. Yeah. And then dinner, get creative. I like to say focus around a protein, right? Pick what protein you want to have tonight. So do you want to have beef? Okay, well, what can you do with beef? A ton.
Yeah.
You make meatballs, make tacos, make burgers, get creative.
Grill it.
Grill it.
What are your thoughts on grilling? Charcoal versus like natural gas propane?
Because
I've heard a lot of things about charcoal.
Yeah.
I'm a charcoal guy.
It's kind of I mean, you pick.
Yeah.
Right? There's studies that show the more you burn your food, the, cancer agents behind that. Yeah. And then it, as long as you have a green vegetable with it, it'll overlap. I mean, if you want to find something on the internet to back your theory, it's on the internet. So just go find it, right? So if you say charcoal's better, you'll find it. If you say gas grill's better, you'll find it. Personally, I have a Blackstone grill. I love it. So that's my go-to. Or just in the kitchen with some butter, olive oil. Or I actually keep all of my fat from when I cook the bacon in the air fryer. Yeah. So as the drippings of the fat come off the bacon, I pour that into a mason jar like a good old 1920s, 30s housewife, and keep that to cook in. So now you cook your eggs in that in the morning.
Use it as like body lotion?
Eggs. You can.
No, I'm just kidding.
Get wild. Go get some beef tallow. I mean, go crazy with it.
Oh gosh. Okay, so portion size. What do you usually recommend to your clientele for meats, beef, steak? So that is
completely individualized. Okay. Completely. What you need to eat and what I need to eat. You're how tall?
6'5".
And how much do you weigh, roughly?
Like 220.
Okay. So what you're eating and what I'm eating, drastically different, right? I'm 5'3", about 130 pounds. Like we're not eating the same food. Yeah. So that would be something that we'd break down together if you're working with me. But for the average person, I mean, it genuinely is hard to say. Okay. Like as far as what it is. A lot of people, I'll tell them, once you feel like you've hit 80% of your hunger, right? Like you've satisfied 80% of it, stop there, see how you feel, and then go from there. Yeah, yeah. You don't want to overconsume.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of solid people. They're like, eat to where you're not stuffed.
Yes.
Maybe like, what, I could probably have seconds.
Yes.
Okay, you're good, stop.
And then let your digestion
and let it happen.
Kick in.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Because then changes happen, right?
Yeah.
Systemically and in your organs to adapt to that. And then you don't need... A professor one time, he was like, congratulations, now you can eat less.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, there you go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so we got a good example of like what a good meal plan would look like.
Yeah.
For generalities. Yeah.
Focus as much as you can around protein. The average person doesn't need enough protein, so breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you focus around protein and then add up the fats and carbs around it, dress it up a little bit, have at it.
What we'll have to do is have you on again to talk about supplements.
Yeah.
Supplementation for high-achieving individuals that are motivation-driven and enthusiastic.
Yeah.
For their weekend warrior activities or athletic endeavors.
Yeah, let's do it.
Enhancing their performance.
Just to give in a little bit, Cellcore. Cellcore Biosciences is my go-to.
For supplement company.
So not a supplement company, but as far as athletes, I have a couple of supplements on there that are really, really quality for like ATP, energy, all that.
Cool.
So
we'll deep dive in.
A fun one to go.
Because I have a ton of questions on that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Let's do that one next time.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. We'll get you on again soon.
Yeah.
And we'll link up. But if you have any questions, definitely reach out. How can they reach out to you best?
So you guys can find me on Instagram. It's CoastalBris Wellness. So Coastal, BRIS, Wellness. I'm also at Coach Brianna Davenport. That's my fitness account. Don't utilize it as much as I probably should. But those are my two accounts. I primarily just stick to Instagram because it's easy. Yeah. CoastalBrisWellness@gmail.com if you wanted to reach out that way. And yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, reach out if you have any questions to Brianna. Shoot her a DM or email. And we'll have her on again soon. Hey, hold up. As you know, we're a small local practice and we don't run any ads or sell anything on this podcast, but it would mean the world if you could share, write a post or word of mouth recommendation for somebody just like you that's athletic and active that wants to live their dynamic lifestyle and pay some good karma and pay it forward to somebody else just like you. And who knows, you could change their world and a 10-second review could be that avenue.